What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Yours truly here, the Brockton Credit Guy, coming at you guys again live about credit, finance, budgeting, etc. And the author of #1 new release book on Amazon, Unlocking Your Credit, or unlockingyourcredit.com, where you could get the copy, right? I'm going to put the link below. But in this video, I want to talk about a specific topic that a lot of people has been asking me about, is how you remove a late payment from your credit. We all know that time to time you might have 1 or 2 late payment, not because you want to, it's because of oversight, could be an emergency, could be you make the payment but it didn't get applied as expected, you probably didn't get the statement, you probably were overseas, you had a debt in the family, job loss, what have you, right? It happens to everybody. It's the act of God. It happens. But the thing is, creditors don't even care about that much, right? And so at times you'll find one late payment that could literally drop your score sometimes over 100 points, 50 to over 100 points. And I've seen it. I've seen a lot of people getting disqualified for mortgage, auto loan, etc. because their score dropped. This is specifically for individuals that has a credit score under 700, under 720, because every points here counts, right? There's literally like 4 ways that you could remove or you could attempt to remove late payment, right? Obviously, you could do your own research. Information that I provide here is more for educational, entertainment purpose. So I don't want you guys to take as a legal advice. You could literally do your own research or hire legal if you need that, right? But so late payment. So obviously in the FICO algorithm, there's 5 factors that calculate in your score. So if you remember the pie chart, 35% of the credit scoring is basically looking if you have any late payment. And mainly the more it hurts if you had a recent late payment within the last, year or 2, right? Actually, with mortgage, if you have any late payment within the last 2 years, or even 12 months, you could literally get disqualified for a mortgage. I'm going to show you some tips. So get a pen, get a piece of paper, and let's take a note and let's go through it, right? Some might work, some might not work. This is specifically, right, for individual that has 1 or 2 late payments, right? So late payments are categorized as 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 180. After that, it gets charged off, it gets written off, and gets sold for gets sold to like a third-party company, etc. Right? And this is mainly for open account. Obviously, at the end of the video, I'll give you some tips what you could do about closed account as well, right? So the thing is, you have to look at your credit report. You have to grab your credit report. I don't suggest you grab the credit report just on Credit Karma. I would rather you go to the credit monitoring sites or go to Experian.com, purchase the report from all 3, or go to My FICO, purchase the report, download the report or print it, whatever it is, look at it, and a couple of things you could do, right? First thing that you could normally do is literally, right, call them and offer attempt to remove the late pay. This is literally for open account, and this is literally because you are late 30 days or 60 days. If you're more than that, it might not work, right? You call them, you offer them that you're gonna set up an automatic payment and paperless billing, right? So tell them that, you're in the process of buying a house, you look at a late payment there, you're willing to sign up for the auto pay and paperless billing if they're willing to remove that late remark or that late 2 remarks that you have, right? So, and basically the customer service they answer, right? The first person that answered doesn't have the ability or the power to do so. So I would ask to talk to their manager or credit department and just tell them the situation, what happened, and tell them that you're willing to sign up for their automatic payment, right? Obviously, make sure you give them the account that you mainly, you don't have too much transaction there. It doesn't get overdraft, whatever the case is, because it will be counterproductive what you're trying to aim for, right? Give them savings, where you have most of your money there. Set it up. You can set it up for automatic payment, what have you, right? So tell them, say, listen, I'm willing to set up automatic payment and the paperless billing. You're saving them a lot of money, and they know you don't, they don't have to chase you, but you want that late payment reverse. All right? So give that a try, but talk to the manager. Second way you could, if that doesn't work, right? Second way you could do it is with what they call goodwill letter, right? You could Google it or you could write it. And this goodwill letter is basically, it's an extension to them that, and this letter has to sound emotional. It has to sound not too dramatic, but it has to sound emotional, realistic. It has to come from the heart, right? And you basically send it to you. If you don't know the address, call them and ask what address you could send to the credit department for goodwill, right? And explain the situation that you have, and you want to make sure that you're being personal with them, right? You're telling the situation, and literally what I usually tell some of my clients, or what we do here at the Depina Credit Solution, we basically write and understand the story, what happened, and we look at the history. You have to have some history. You can't have 4 months with them or 6 months and then all of a sudden you're late one or twice. That shows that's a high risk, right? You have to be like at least a year or two where you could tell them, you have a long-lasting relationship with them, right? And you have to use keywords, right? You have long-lasting relationship with them, and you're literally looking to buy a house, but this late payment's hurting you. You probably had a debt in the family, whatever situation that you had a debt in the family, or job loss, or you were overseas for whatever thing that happened, and you didn't have the access to the credit report, or probably you didn't receive a statement, right? But you just went ahead and you did a paperless bill, and like that, you will make sure you receive it. You just went ahead also. You have to make sure you already put a process in place. Guarantee them that going forward that you're not going to be late. With the pandemic, you're looking to buy a house to shelter your family, but this one late payment just easily disqualify you for a mortgage or for auto loan. So you want to make sure you explain them and make sure it's emotional, right? And then send it in attention to the executive office of the president, right? When you send it directly to the executive office of the president, because probably the president won't read it, but somebody in their office or the secretary will read and understand it. But it can't be like a template. It has to be genuine. It has to be personal, based on your story, and put it together and send it out with a copy of your driver's license, copy of your social, copy of a statement if you have it, like that, to make it easy for them to access the report, right? Your file. Make it easier for them, right? Don't make it hard for them to go digging for your report. Tell them how long you had the relationship with them. You were always on point. Probably you had a sick child. Probably you lost your job, but you're looking now to better yourself, to buy a house, to shelter your family, and this is hurting you. Explain to them in detail how much it's hurting you, right? And just wait 30 days. And what you could do too, you can always follow up within a couple of weeks. Just follow up. Say, hey, I had sent a goodwill letter to your credit department or your office of the president. I want to make sure you guys receive it because this is really hurting me. It's stressing me out. Verify. Send it as a certified mail, right? Like that, you could track it if they receive it or not, right? So doing things like that, tracking it, doing it in that way, you'll be able to, after 30 days, they should respond, or even before. So if the second one here, goodwill, which normally over 50% it does work as long as it's personal, go through The third one, right? The third way of disputing it, where it's through the credit bureau. This is where literally, you already went through the Goodwill channel. You called them, offering them the automatic payment, paperless billing, and everything. It didn't work. So now you go through credit bureau. This is where you're gonna factually, just because it's reporting you were late or whatever the case is, 70% of the credit reporting contains error. This is where you will literally leverage, your credit report, looking at all three of them, and make sure that they are reporting correct balance, correct account number, correct high balance that you ever used, payment history, date that they last reported. Look through your credit report and pointing out if there's any error. And then if they say you were late, you probably were late a couple of days, but were you literally late, more than 30 days? Perhaps you were late, you probably were late, how can I say it, like a couple of days. But in order for them to report it, you have to be late 30 days. You probably late a couple of days and they report you late. And this is where you can leverage it and use it and tell them, no, I wasn't late 30 days, right? I don't want you to claim false information, but I want to make sure that you're addressing it, right? You probably were late 5-6 days, but in order for them to report, you have to be late 30 days. They're reporting you 60 days. You probably were late 49 days, right? So you want to point it out to them and let them investigate it, right? Probably the date of last reported for all three of them were inconsistency, right? There's multiple inaccurate information. There were multiple inconsistency in reporting. One credit bureau showed that you were late in February. The other one showed that you were okay. Leverage that, circle it, and write a letter, nice letter, personal letter to them. Make a copy for yourself and everything that you send out. You gotta make sure that you're keeping a copy to yourself, right? And this is the same thing that you would do, right? This is the same thing that you would do with closed account, with the credit bureau. So allow them, right? Make sure you're pinpointing the error, factually the issues on your credit, right? And this is what we do. This is what a lot of credit report agencies out there will do, right? You have to be able to look at the inconsistency with all the three major credit bureaus, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, right? The three major one of them. Find the address, right? Google the address, dispute department, right? I'm going to put it below here. The dispute department for TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, right? And send them the letter, certified mail. They should allow them 30 to 45 days, right, to get it. If you have a fax number for them, send it through fax as well to make sure they receive it. And then wait 30 to 45 days. If they send you a response, right, back and say, well, this is accurate, you are late, you were late, we're reporting it 100% accurate, we verify it, then you could go through a method called method of verification. What process did you took to actually verify? Ask them those questions. Attach the letters that you just send them and let them know. It's impossible, right, for them to actually verify if, for example, you address to them, if you already pinpoint, you highlighted all those errors and still report. How in the world that they verify, right? And allow 30 to 45 days. Usually that will be even quicker. And demand. You always want to tell them the action, what you want them to do. Don't just tell them, I wasn't late or is report inaccurate, but what do you want them to do? Basically, you want them to make that account current and you were never late, paid as agreed, right? So keep telling them that. And then if all those four options doesn't work, then the bonus option is that all the stuff that you send them to the credit bureau for them to investigate, a method of verification, a highlighted copy, you scan them, you go to Consumer Protection Bureau, right? CFBP, and just ask them for help. They're like a third party. They're like the middlemen, and then send them a dispute, right, through Consumer Protection Bureau, telling them specifically that you already attempt to try to resolve it with the creditor, the credit bureau, and it keeps coming back that they verify, but it's impossible for them to verify it because you have a highlighted specific factual errors on your report. Because think about this, right? Just because you have an account with Bank of America or Chase and you were late last month or last week or last year, doesn't mean that they're reporting accurate. They have to adhere by the law, right? They have to adhere by consumer law, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and it has to report 100% accurate, 100% verifiable, and 100% timely, right? That means that if any of those are inconsistent or it's not verifiable, then it's ground for deletion or correction, right? And they have to do it, because it might be an issue. It might be an issue with the creditor, the way they transport the information. So, it might happen like that. So you want to make sure, right, you have that information. You're literally, right, telling them exactly the errors on the report, and you're documenting everything. You scan them. Even the certified letter that you send, I want you to make a copy when you submit it to Consumer Protection Bureau. That should be your last stroke. So if none of them work, unfortunately, that's it, right? You just got to deal with it. Just make sure that you're not late, because as you move forward, you're building good habits. You're not late anymore. All those negative things in the past, it doesn't hurt you that much, because the scoring algorithm look at the recent activity. So obviously you're attempting to remove it. You'll gain some point back. You're not going to gain all the points that you lost back. But as you build your history, as you build your momentum going forward, you're not late anymore. It kind of cures itself. One late payment might drop your score 50 to 100 points. You could rebound it after like 9 months. Obviously, it stays in your credit for 7 years, right? But the thing is, just make sure you're not late. Build a good habit. Get yourself added as authorized use on the family member account. Somebody that has a good credit, you'll gain some points back. And just make sure you're not late anymore. Build automatic payment will save your life. Hopefully, this information helps you. Do your research, look at the goodwill letters, call them up, plead your case to them, and etc. All right? Love you all. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you set the notification bell to see everything. Like and share it. Look through my channel. There's a lot of videos there that explain other category. These are more detailed that I'm getting. So just don't be late again. Talk to you. Bye.